And we're back! Sketch Zone Podcast is on the air. I am Carlos Gomez. And hey, I have a question for everyone. Before we start introducing people, I have a question for all of you guys.
What's up?
What are two things that Sketch Zone Podcast and the Olympics have in common?
You love Brazil?
You're on to one of them.
Okay.
So number one, we both went to Brazil to find incredible talents.
Okay, cool.
And two, Brian Lochte will never be invited to either one of us ever.
It's Ryan Lochte, but okay.
Is
Oh,
it Ryan
damn.
or Brian? I thought it was Brian.
Whoa, did you call him Brian?
Yeah, I said Brian.
Out of touch. Okay.
Touch. Brutal.
We love you.
Oh. So let's talk about incredible. Let's talk about the Sketch Zone incredible talents coming from Brazil. We have the one, the only, Dadotronic himself, Dado.
Gold medal!
Yeah, son! Gold medal in creativity.
Welcome.
What's going on? Color
Yeah,
Fury?
man. Thank you. At first, I have to say my English is the worst one.
Don't worry, Charlie's is horrible too.
Nice. Nice. Touche, my friend, for jumping at that joke that I did not think fast enough. I was thinking it in my head. You said it and beat me this week. But now, let's just wait.
Out of touch. Out of touch.
Well, you know, Brian
But
Lockley.
then I like to thank you guys for the interview. It's very important for me at this point of my career.
So we already have a message directly to Dado.
Oh, come on. Who is this?
Who is it?
From someone we all know and love.
Man.
He says, so pumped for this episode. Dado is someone I met on Instagram through art, and he is someone who I am sure if we lived closer would hang out and draw all the time, much like the Sketch Zone gang. Thanks for throwing that in there, Dave.
Yeah,
Looking forward to learning more about you, buddy. Your brother from down under, mother.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they talk
come
about
on.
my English. Really?
Winky face.
Keep it moving.
Your brother from your down under mother? That sounds real.
Sounds real suspect. We're gonna have to pause this.
I've got a special sound effect just for Dave Atsey. Because we all know how much he loves Ninja Turtles. This is now his official sound effect.
I like turtles.
So anytime Dave calls in, as he usually does.
I like turtles.
So they Carl could be like, wait a minute, was that a Dave Atz?
I got to put that on repeat then. Just start playing that whole entire show. Hey, Dave, thanks for chiming in.
Thank you.
Long-time listener, long-time caller.
David's a cool guy, man.
Yeah, he is. Speaking of cool guys, we got Charlie B. Williams III.
Hello, it's another week. I am here, still in one piece, and my sleep schedule is amazing right now.
Welcome. And another cool brother from down under, mother. Pastor Zach.
Hello. Got nothing on that one. I'm gonna let that sit there.
Yeah, so we're gonna spend the next little bit of chunk of time to talk to Dado about his art, his Patreon page, his woodworking skills. I'd like to talk about that for about a second or two. Yeah, we're gonna find out if he really does live in a jungle. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that you can send your questions using the Sketch Zone hotline, 408-753-8248.
You
That's
gotta find
408 Sketch 8 Sketch Zone Hotline.
Yo, you gotta find some Price is Right music or something.
I actually have it somewhere.
Yeah, you had it.
But yeah, the sound, the budget for sound officially went away. So we got
Hey now.
Not for Jack. Not for Jack. Jack's coming up with new innovative. He's booming over there.
I know he's got some magic. So I wanted to chat a little bit since we were talking about people saying funny things and whose English is working sometimes and sometimes not. We ran a poll on Twitter this week.
Really?
And the question was, how do you say it? Do you say welcome? Do you say welcome?
Again?
Or do you say welcome?
Carlos has got a mad obsession with this.
No, next week is going to be, why is there smoke in Tron?
Yeah, there's that one too.
Like, it's just recycled. So, here's what the poll I ran. And it'll be something else. Like,
So, 0% of our listeners say welcome.
yeah.
Welcome.
43% of our listeners say Wacom, and 57% are smart enough to figure it out and say Wacom. So there you have it. There's, our fan base is somewhat educated and very smart.
You sure you didn't have Dave Etsy just like sit there and do, surveys for last week?
Not for anything, but Dave is part of the 43%. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. No judging.
Out.
Sketch Zone is a judge-free zone.
Judge-free zone.
Doesn't sound like it.
We welcome you with open arms, whether or not you speak proper English.
In the past, I worked on a Wacom reseller, and the manager say the right manner to say Wacom. It's Wacom.
Wacom.
Not Wacom.
Right.
Wacom. Mm-hmm.
Wacom. It's a Japanese name, isn't it?
Ooh.
Yeah, it means something like inspiration or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Ooh, sounds like a trivia question for later, for a giveaway.
I know. We're gonna, we got another Twitter poll.
We got good. We're good to go for next week.
What does anyway? I wanted to congratulate one of our Sketch Zone brethren.
Oh,
What?
Pablo Hurtado.
yes! Oh, great! Your notes are amazing this week. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Our little brother Pablo.
You
Charlie,
get props.
you're awful excited, so I think we're going to let you handle this one.
Yo, so Pablo and his twin brother, oh wow, Pedro, art students, young. They're in, and they've been
Actually,
on
there
their
are
grind.
professionals now, but yeah.
Now they're professionals. Yeah, they were students, but now they're young. They're on their grind. They've been in the industry for two or 3 years, both of them. But Pablo just got a new job, and it's
At Aldi's. Yay!
it's great. And he's been working really, really hard, and he just got a new job at a major game studio as a character artist.
Nice.
He's actually working on a pretty big title.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone hear of John Madden?
Yeah.
Boom!
So a lot of
Pablo.
times, like
Go ahead.
you might get on as like a contract, and then if you kind of prove yourself, or if there's a spot opens up and you just kick ass, you can get on full time. But yeah, he has that on his belt. He posted on Facebook this week. He's in the credits and everything for John Madden. And that's That's good.
John Madden 2017, no less.
Yeah,
That means
this
you
year.
can see the future.
Yeah, yeah, it's so weird with the sports titles, you know. Uh, like we're in 2016 playing next year's roster. No, but it's great. It's very special because Pablo was one of my first students when I took my hiatus from studio work, and I taught him when he was a wee bit freshman before he knew how to do 3D, and watched him grow all the way through and graduate and do good. I've had a good week with that. I had one other student. Shout out to Julian Ayala, who was also who also graduated with Pablo. We'll have to have him on the show. We haven't had him on the show. So his brethren that he graduated with, he is now got a character artist job at NetherRealm Studios, working on over there, the makers of Mortal Kombat and Injustice and
Finish
all that good stuff. So yeah, both of them are at major studios. NetherRealm is Warner Brothers, so both of them. That class was talented. So they're finally seeing the fruits. It took them about what? 2 years? Yeah, I say grind for like 2-3 years. If you're really serious, you can find your spot. So they've only been 2-3 years out from graduating. It's good job, guys.
What did you teach, Charlie?
So I taught at a school called the International Academy of Design Technology. In their visual communications degree, they had a small sub-degree, game art and design, and
cool.
they were game art and design students way back when. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Man.
Pablo, that's that EA. Yeah. It's my first gig was at EA years ago. This feels good. I know he's having a ball. With all those people he's around, all those like senior artists he's around.
Shower? You're breathing kind of heavy.
I know, but it's great. It's great when you get on. This is what we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but like when you get on at a studio that's like very top tier and you're like kind of still a junior to mid, that's like he might be sweating bullets every day, but he's gonna learn so much more for character art. You know, and he was already great. We kept seeing pieces from him. He did the guy from was it Sons of Anarchy? What's the older guy actor? I don't know.
That big fella, yeah.
Yeah, he did ZBrush. He was also in what's the movie from the comic book movie Hellboy. He was a Hellboy actor.
That's right.
Oh, Ron Perlman.
Yeah, he has a really nice sculpt. Go over, find Pablo Hurtado's website, find that sculpt. It's awesome. It's really good. But he's just been doing really, really great. So good job on him.
Yeah, good for you, Pablo. Hey Dado, did you go to art school?
No, man. In Brazil, we didn't have this kind of. We didn't have this kind of game design oriented art school.
Mm-hmm. No game design degrees.
So your art is all self-taught?
Yeah, mostly. How can I say that? I tried some small workshops and local courses when I was living in the big city, but just it. The internet was my teacher.
Ah, nice.
And books, of sure, a lot of books.
And I noticed that I'm assuming that you got onto things like YouTube and things like that, right?
No. When I started, I started as a 3D artist, and my knowledge come from Polycount, the message board.
Oh.
Yeah.
Charlie's
I was a professional.
So awesome.
I was a professional Polycount lurker.
Oh, you're lurker? No posting?
He is a professional lurker.
How could you? Scared to post?
After some years, I started to post. But I learned a lot from this site, man.
Yeah. That'll talk about Polycount, though. Why were you a lurker? For people who don't know what Polycount is, or like the type of environment that site is.
Well, I don't. Polycount was renewed some year in the last year, so I stopped to visit every day. But when I was going every day to that site, there's a lot of professionals, and they are very willing to help the newcomers. So if you post work, they reply and then help you. If you just chit chat, they skip. So it's about work and comment. There's no much, I just like and whatever.
Or that looks cool. None of that type of stuff. It has to be solid
No.
critiques.
Constructive criticism.
Right. And they
Yeah,
cut you
that's it.
apart. So some people feel like they need to post when their stuff is good enough to post, and then make a well thought out post, everything spelled correctly, and then like have their full process to get a response. But sometimes I even used to tell students, you post your stuff on Polycount, if no one responds to it, it's not good enough yet.
Yeah.
Keep working. I would make them just post their stuff. It's kind of demoralizing, but you post your stuff, and if you don't get a response, it's been up there for 2 weeks, and you get nothing, try again. Do it again. And then when you get that, because some professionals don't want to spend time writing a post if they don't feel like you're at the level to take their critique. Because some people, when they get a critique, it's hard, and it's to the point, and don't start defending, because then it turns into one of those threads where they, every vet on there will kind of treat you.
Yeah. I got this internet thick skin from Polycount.
Mhm.
Sometime a guy say, "Hey man, I don't believe you just have 300 followers on Instagram," and I think, well, that's not important right now, because on Polycount I was used to post a lot of image and no one comment, so it's very normal for me too.
And for the record, Dado does have 731 followers. And
Yeah.
one of the cool things that I saw, not everyone, because not everyone has that many followers, but whenever people achieve a milestone of, say, 10,000 followers, they make a whole big celebration type of thing. Dado celebrated 700.
There you go, man. I would too. I celebrate 100.
Yeah.
If I was pushing for those followers, you get tired of hearing me. Like Carlos talked about his Candy Crush. It'd be like, yo, I got 65 this week. We're moving up. Great.
So, Dado, explain a little bit the difference between putting your art in a place like Polycount and in a place like Instagram.
Okay. From the amateur or the beginner standpoint, I think if you place your work on Instagram and became too much worried about likes and comments, you are doing wrong. The difference in posting forums or close small communities is because you have to impress people to get a comment or to get a like.
Mm-hmm.
So in the end, you have to work harder. In Instagram, it all depends of you're not sure how the Instagram algorithm is working towards you. Let's take, for example, sometime I did just a quick crappy sketch and tag a very popular artist, and I got 400 likes just because I did this sketch and tagged this guy.
Oh, wow.
And this my last piece. It was a full week of work. I got 14 likes.
Oh, man.
So beginners and amateurs do not take Instagram likes or Facebook likes or Twitter as a meter of quality or your improvement level.
So while we talk about your work, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Make sure I get the right one, and bam. There we go. So let's talk about your work not necessarily your professional work more than your Instagram work. Actually, how did you get into art in the first place, especially seeing that Brazil doesn't really have that many art schools or any?
Yeah. Well, the first work I had was a journalist. I wrote small articles in a PC magazine. And someday one guy said, "Hey man, write a review about this 3D Studio Max thing." I was, "Oh, okay, let's go. Let's learn about it." And then I discovered this software is the software they use to make Diablo and the 3D games in that and in their era.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started I think, well, that can be learned. I can learn how to make a game. I made this connection, and so I became interested in 3D. I searched for courses in my city, for workshops. We had courses, but more towards architecture and pre-visualization.
Pre-visualization, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I discovered this school called Cadretech. I joined there. At that year, they're starting the first workshop about game design, very director, just basic 3D stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did this course, and in the end, to resume the history, I became a 3D teacher in this school, and we started the first game design oriented course in the country, from what I know.
That's pretty
So
crazy.
I started, yeah. So I started as a 3D artist.
That's pretty neat. How did you get into 2D art?
After some years doing 3D art, I teach two long courses. How can I say that? 6 months. Each course had 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and after the two courses, I met 4 guys, and we joined it and created our own studio, and we tried to work as outsourcing, because in 2005 that was the only option to work with games, especially from Brazil. So we created this studio, and one of the guys was the concept artist, but he decided to leave to Australia, to Perth, to visit Dave.
Of course.
And I had to assume the drawing part. I was a bit interested in drawing, but not much. But I had to assume the drawing concept art.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I decided to switch to 3D from 2D was basically the price of the tools. It can sound a bit of douche of my part, but I don't like to use pirate softwares and steal softwares from companies. It's a if you gaining money, if you're being received, I think you have to pay for the softwares. And I didn't have the money to pay for a 3ds Max, for a Maya, or even a ZBrush. So I started using more Psy and later Clip Studio Paint. And then I became to offer this kind of work more frequently.
That's really cool. The fact that you didn't give up is really neat. Because price becomes an issue for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's neat to see that you actually figured it out.
Yeah. Now it's way more easier with the. I don't like the subscription plans, but it's way more approachable to newcomers.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a turn for the best with the subscription stuff. Some of them I think are still can get a little pricey, too expensive on some of the programs, but definitely like the subscription plan now with those different type of programs.
Pookie. This is so cute. So what kind of software do you use now? You use
basically Clip Studio Paint, the Japanese version of Manga Studio.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And to drawing, I'm trying a new software called Leonardo. It's like a Sketchbook Pro, but it's even more lightweight. I'm trying to use it every day. It became part of my workflow. And sorry,
what's the program called again?
Leonardo. It's like the turtle.
Really?
Or the painter.
Just thinking.
I like turtles.
Or the
Yes. Do you know who it's made by? Like, what is it called? Is it just Leonardo? Oh,
it's Leonardo. I don't know what's the cool about Leonardo. I got it on a tablet-oriented blog. It's a blog about tablet PCs and
It's
iPad Pros.
GetLeonardo.com.
Yeah, that's it. And the sooner I got the interview with the creator, I fired him an email and say, "Hey, what's your plan?" Because those new tools are cool, but it's hard because you get immersed and you put your time in a new tool, and then the developer give up or stop to creating. So I wrote first for the guy just to know how was their roadmap, any future ideas, and they replied me it was very cool. So I keep
like,
using.
mind your business.
Yo, that was like, yo, I want to use your program, but don't waste my time. Let me see your roadmap. I got things to do, and I kind of like this program, so I just need to see your roadmap. Any investors you have lined up, go ahead and show me your books.
No.
Nah, but that's awesome. So they have a sound roadmap in terms of like development and what they want to do in the future.
Yeah, the guys. I think it's just one guy only creating the program, but if you get it to try, I'm sure you will be impressed because it's a very streamlined interface and just right to the point to use in a tablet PC device or how can I say, what's the name of the Microsoft Surface?
Surface,
Yeah, Surface. It was designed to work on these platforms.
Carlos, Jack, you guys gonna have to like download this and tell me how it is. Seems like something you guys would like to.
I already. Not only are we going to have the link on the show notes, but we're going to take a look at that. There's another application that I've downloaded in the past that is open source. It's called Krita, Krita. Have you guys heard of that one yet?
Yeah. It's good.
I've been following them and been downloading and updating and everything, and just recently they added like frame by frame animation type of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So imagine the brushes of Photoshop with the animation of Flash, which is Animate, which is kind of where I would like to see Animate get to because yeah, having vector graphics and stuff like that is neat, but I would really like to be able to choose if I want to do vector or bitmap base, you know?
Yeah, you want more options on the export or the final output, right?
I can't. I need to scribble, right? When I'm trying to animate, and especially frame by frame animation, I need to scribble so I can get the feel, the flow of the thing, right? And when you're doing that in vector, it ruins it. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a totally different beast. I mean, even just the look of it, you're committing to the realities and the limitations of that tool. I mean, it's kind of like the difference between animating with a pencil and animating with, you know, a marker. It's just you get the look of vector, and it's the mathematics behind it can be really. I mean, there's great advantages to it, you know, about the scalability and, you know, copy and pasting and the vector corrections and all the stuff that offers, but there's just something about like raster-based images that is just more natural for drawing. I mean, not necessarily for final illustration. I mean, obviously Illustrator and vector-based programs are amazing for finalized illustration and super crisp, clean design stuff, but just doodling and sketching, I don't know. I personally really like raster-based stuff.
So how does that match up to the powerhouse that is the main animation tool in the industry? What is it?
Harmony?
Harmony, in terms of like the frame by frame, Carlos, that you said they added, or is that?
Harmony actually gives you the option.
Yeah, it does.
Oh wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I was listening to a talk with. I went to say his name and I completely forgot. Chris Wimberly. I was listening to his podcast, and he did a Ask Me Anything, and one of the questions was, what do you prefer, drawing in vector or drawing in raster? And he said that he actually prefers vector, which is bananas. But,
wow.
You know, he's a smart guy. I get he might be in the 43% though.
You know, speaking of other art-based drawing programs, I don't know. We talked about Mischief back when we were in our teens episodes, I think. Remember that program?
Yes.
Yeah.
They got bought out by. They're under the umbrella of the Foundry now, which is the company. If you guys don't know what the Foundry, for all you visual effects guys like Jack, that's the same company that owns, you know, Modo and Nuke and, you know, all those Kara and all those visual effects tools. They seem to bought the Mischief guys, and now it's so funny at the bottom of the screen after all the different effects software, there's Mischief there. So I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I was surprised to see that there a couple weeks ago. I don't know how this could have been a while ago, but you know,
good for Mischief. As far as and I know I've said this in the past, but as far as a brainstorming tool, I don't know if there's anything better than Mischief.
Yeah. But Carlos, you have to try Leonardo because it has this infinite canvas feature. It's very similar to the Mischief one, yeah.
Oh, really?
All right.
Yeah, it's an infinite canvas software.
Nice.
Well,
those software things. Did you guys remember Sculptris, the 3D sculpting one?
Yeah.
So Pixologic bought it, and then the software just disappears.
Yeah, the guy started working for Pixologic.
Oh.
So it's funny when they made that software. The guy who made it was one guy young guy, like maybe he's fresh out of college or right before he didn't go to school, but he was like a very, very young guy, like abnormally young, maybe in his early 20s, like, you know, he's just a really smart programmer, right? And he was working on it, and then he released it, and then he did one of those young guy things where he like went to Europe or somewhere and backpacked or went on a vacation, and it blew up on the internet. So then when he came back, he had all these emails and stuff like that, and eventually, the Pixelogic guys saw it. You can still download it. Pixelogic just uses it as their entry level 3D program. So if you go to the ZBrush site, you can download Sculptress, and then it also kind of gives you. They still provide it that way. It's like, hey, if you bring you in slowly, and then when you get ready, you can come back. I still think it's cool because it kind of uses that voxel-based workflow. It subdivides where your mouse is, and nowhere else. So you just add more polygons where your mouse is. It's really smart thing that guy did.
Yeah, it's a good starting point to 3D sculpting.
Yeah.
We have get ready, Jack. We have a question in from
What?
Dave Atsy.
I like turtles.
Dave asks, what artists have influenced your style? Or who do you look up to?
Today or since I began drawing? Because...
See, now that you go there, one of each. Or a collection of each.
Today I think Jake Parker is the big inspiration for me. And from the past, I like Joey Madureira a lot.
Yeah,
this drawing style. But one of the names that always came back to my mind is Paul Bonner. Paul Bonner, I don't know how to spell it in English. It's a fantasy painting.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Bonner, maybe?
Paul Bonner.
B-O-N-N-E-R?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The guy painting watercolor, he did some work for Warhammer and those fantasy cardboard games. He's
cool.
Amazing.
You talk about, well, we've been talking about like social networking and how you and Dave Atsy have connected and you share ideas and talk about different artists and stuff like that. And you have a pretty good following on Instagram and Polycount and stuff. How has social media influenced your artwork?
This year, man, I decided to... in the past, I was struggling because I'd like to be a concept artist, but I'd like to be a freelance concept artist. And that's even harder because concept art is a very on-spot, in-the-site type of work, I think. So I was struggling because I had received some opportunities to leave the Brazil, and I decided to not go. And at the same time, I'd like to join a company, but it wasn't working. So that's why I say Jake Parker. After listening to some of his videos, I had this insight of it. Well, so if I can't get the job I want, I will try to make the job I wanted. So I decided to listen more to social media and to develop this fun art of retro game things because it's something I am truly passionate. So social media is helping me to figure out what game people would like to see me drawing or what game will be cool to draw.
Very neat. And along those lines, you decided to start a Patreon page?
Yeah, it's not been very successful
Oh,
at
it's
this
okay.
moment.
I mean, it takes a while to get anything going. So it's cool, man. Just as long as you get it, you have something up, people are going to see your work and they're going to want to see more of it.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot of people out there that are willing to help.
yeah. That's what I believe in. Because I have this idea. Well, I'm giving art to Facebook to Mark Zuckerberg from free every week. Why not asking for a bit of money?
That is such a good point. I give Mark Zuckerberg free art every week.
I'm sure that will be my tagline in the podcast.
Well, we'll work on it. It's a good one. We'll write it down.
But this Patreon thing was in my mind for such a long time, but I wasn't sure if it sounds true enough to ask for money to this kind of art. But after see Dave book, Mr. Jake Parker work, I think it can work. It can work.
Well, see, the only difference I see is I think Jake has been at this a lot longer than you, and he has had his following is huge. So I think you're on the right track.
Yeah, I think 1% of the followership it's the really people which gives money or who buy something from you. So I have
Right.
700, maybe 7 peoples will be possible interested in buy something.
Yeah.
So I don't freak out at this point.
Yeah. So what are some of the offerings that you have on Patreon? So if you go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Dadotronic, DADOTRONIC, patreon.com/Dadotronic, you'll see his page. Actually, I'm going to stop screen sharing so people can see your face and you can make a pitch. Be like, look, I am hungry.
Hungry.
I need coffee.
So what are some of the things that you're offering on your Patreon page?
No, this Patreon it's going to be dedicated to retro game art. So if you like retro game art, I think you probably will like some of the stuff I will be sharing. And my inspiration is 18 and 19 game art. I'm very influenced by this kind of stuff. And one of the tiers, levels, or prize is a dumb word, but how can I say that, guys? Please help me.
The goals?
Offerings. Yeah. One of the offerings that I'm giving is it's the PSD file of my monthly illustration. You can grab it. Yeah, but in my case, I bought some PSD files from other artists, and they were very crap, not named.
Yeah.
Not naming any names, but those Photoshop files were poo.
They were
very poo.
He said very poo.
Again,
Dang.
I don't want to be a Dutch a jerky, but I try to offer a very poor, good quality PSD file.
They were very crap.
Very poopy.
Did you get? I'd get your money back.
So I offered the PSD file, and if you guys, or any of the guys contribute with $5, you can get the high-res PNG and the time lapse, which is insane amount of work for me
Oh, wow.
to record.
Time-lapse
that's
videos, no joke.
pretty neat. And that was for $5.
Yeah,
For $5, you get a high-resolution PSD and time-lapse video of how he created this Photoshop file.
Yeah. Let me ask you something for you guys. How easy is to pick a file and print in a good quality pop paper in US or?
I don't know. My artwork is not generally good enough to print.
Oh, man.
It ranges pretty dramatically. I mean, there's so many options for print style and ink quality and paper quality, but I mean, you can get, like, if we're talking about just like an 8x10 standard thing, you could get like a pretty fair print for, if you're just getting one for like $3 or $4. If you're getting massive ones, you can get them for, fractions of a dollar. It just kind of depends on what style of print you're wanting.
Yeah, I decided to give up the PNG because it's impossible for me to sell a print and ship from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
It won't work right now with my fellowship, with my money, the money I have now. I need some cash to do this.
So, we here at the Sketch Zone, we offer solutions. So,
here we go.
For a 30% markup, we would be more than happy to take your desired file and print it out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll even mail it for an extra 10%.
Nobody got time for that.
Yeah. See the sound
Okay, man,
driving over there.
Let's do it.
What do you say, Mario?
At least it's not free art for Zuckerberg or Tumblr.
Yeah. There it is.
Yeah, so at the $25 level, we have a new level. If you go to patreon.com/Dadotronic for $30 a month, we will not only give you a high-res PSD, a video file, but we will also send you a print. Just kidding, that's not up there until it's up there, and then we'll handle that.
Let's go, man.
Up there.
Dado, when I was doing research on you,
Stalking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that you were pretty handy with the oh man, it's not gonna let me play it. Dag nabbit. What if I shared that? Here we go. I'm gonna share my entire screen. Let me
do it.
Let me move all this stuff. So I want you guys to see. I'm gonna move this so you guys don't. Oh, the build-up is killing me.
It's killing me.
All right, I want you guys to see.
Show me something.
I want you guys to see this. I'm trying to make it as big and as clear as possible. All right, so watch this. All right, ready? Oh, hang on, I gotta present to everyone. All right, check out my man. And I want you to notice, well, actually, here we go. See, he's drawing on his little tablet. Bam! Look at the face. Look at the face. This is a man on a... Now that we did that, the aspect ratio is now ruined.
Yeah.
Ah, Twitter, you're killing me. Here we go. Look at that face. Tell me someone is not pleased with himself. Bam. And you'll see what I'm talking about if you follow Dado on Twitter, Dadotronic, twitter.com/Dadotronic. Follow him, and then look through his history and take a look at this wooden desk that he built.
Oh, you
Tell
built
us
it?
the story of that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man. This remember, guys, I told you about this guy which was the concept artist of our studio, which moved to Australia, and he gave me his animation desk, and I took with me for every city I moved. So this year I decided to make this little hack to draw more, because I grabbed this tablet PC, very small. You have to be very crumpled, very in a bad position for the back. So I decided to hack it. Let me try to.
So it's not that, so let's go ahead and hack is a tough word for this. We can say it was DIY.
Yeah.
Or you could say modded.
Because this piece of machinery that you fashioned yourself, my friend, is legitimately cool as all get out. And if you're listening on iTunes, Dado took some wood and he basically made an adjustable desktop.
Like an old school animation desk.
Yeah, it's like an old school desk.
Yeah.
Without the disc. It doesn't
Yeah.
have the disc in the middle, but you can actually lift it up, so then that way you keep your back straight, or if you feel like, hunching, then flatten it back out and hunch away.
Flatten that bad boy out, yep.
Yeah, it's very. I think it's very easy to make yourself one of these. I saw one on the internet. A guy put a Cintiq, a very big Cintiq, in one of these.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
One of the other things that I saw, you have a YouTube channel as well. So you're working towards getting a nicer following, a bigger following and stuff. And one of the cool things that you're doing is not only are you offering Photoshop files and time-lapse videos and stuff, but on your YouTube channel, you're actually taking time to teach people like squash and stretch and stuff like that. How's that coming along? Is that something that you're going to continue to pursue, to follow up with?
Not necessarily, man. I don't have the need now to teach people, but if people, in this case, this tutorial came from, we were working in this game project, and the artists were in our channel in the Slack team, and one of the guys says, "Hey man, how can you animate this in Flash?" I say, "Well, let me try record a tutorial for you," and then I release it to public.
Nice.
So I'm more towards people asking me and me trying to resolve or help than try to create something every week or just for the sake of the channel.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I was flirting with doing that same idea because I have a sister who runs a restaurant in Chicago, and she's always asking me. I'll get random text messages at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, I'm trying to select something, but I can't find my layers. And I'm like, well, I'm asleep. So I was thinking about doing kind of the same thing, just going through and everything that she asks, doing a tutorial for it, and then, explaining something as, something that we take for granted, like layers.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone who's coming into this who doesn't really understand layers and why if I'm clicking something and moving it around, it's not really moving. Well, it's because you're on a different layer.
Right.
So yeah, I've been flirting with that idea. But while we're on the topic of YouTube, wasn't YouTube on the news today, or they did something today?
Yeah, they pissed a bunch of people off.
Bunch of famous people. What happened?
Am I gonna tell it?
Yep, you're gonna tell it.
Yeah, that's what happens when you talk first.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, basically, they've issued new rules and regulations, and they sent emails to their users that receive advertisers or advertiser funding, and they're called the new Advertiser-Friendly Content Guidelines. And it is apparently pissed off virtually all of YouTube. Most of the famous YouTubers have gone and created videos ranting about how awful this is and how, this is my channel and you shouldn't tell me what to do, and regardless of the content, people are coming here, I have a lot of views, it shouldn't matter. So basically they've told them that they need to be careful about sexually suggestive content, violence including displays of serious injuries or events related to violent extremism, inappropriate language including harassment, profanity, and vulgar language, promotion of drugs and regulated substance, and controversial or sensitive subjects or events. And I think it's the last one that a lot of people are having an issue with. Because there's been plenty of YouTubers that have come under fire for, sexually suggestive content or harassment or even violence. But being able to talk about controversial topics is kind of, that's what the entire YouTube comment section is. So.
Yeah.
It seems like they kind of make them take the stance more of a, like, I don't know, it seems like, I don't know how they can do that, but it's almost, I don't know if it's the major content guys that have those big deals with advertisers and stuff, because it's almost like a trend, like they're treating, if you're on YouTube, you're under YouTube's umbrella, like what they do with the NBA. Because, like, the NBA has a strict guidelines for their players, outside of the NBA because you represent them. So, whereas other, sports celebrities that don't have that, but it seems like YouTube is like treat them like you work for them, so you have to watch what you say. So let's not talk about that stuff.
Well, YouTube does pay them.
But what about the political and news type YouTube, like Young Turks and like all those other like people that put stuff on their YouTube channels and stuff like that? Isn't their whole content like controversial or sensitive events?
Yeah, that's a really good point. But I think
the only guy
go ahead.
No, the only guy I saw flaming about this discussion was that Felipe DeFranco. It's a very popular YouTuber.
Yeah.
But if you see the guy's channel, it's just about talk about other people, that kind of issue. It's not content.
Mm-hmm.
And PewDiePie was very upset.
Yeah, I can see him being upset, but he's like the super YouTube content. Like he's got to be making a bunch of money off of those advertisements. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you would have to start to explain the
Let's
legal talk, right?
yeah, let's go down this road real quick. Let's put some brain power behind this thing. Because the more I was thinking about, like when you watch TV, right?
Hmm.
You have ABC, well, here in America, you have ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox. Those are the main four. And those are the ones that you can't say bad words. Well, now they're starting to move away from that, but for the most part, you can't say bad words. You can't be way too sexually suggestive and stuff like that. And a lot of that is because of advertisers.
Hmm.
But then you move to cable channels, say like Comedy Central. Comedy Central, after a certain amount of time, they drop f-bombs and they say bad words all kinds of crazy ways. They still don't show very sexually suggestive things, but that's because America's very weird about that stuff. Um, but again, the advertisers are different. So not only do the cable channels make money off of advertising, or I should say, they make money off of subscribers, but they also make money off of advertisers. But then advertisers then start to leverage their money against you saying bad words and stuff like that. So now we're starting to see how advertisers are starting to affect the internet. The internet is supposed to be like a controlled version of the Wild West.
Yeah. Supposed to be free.
Right. So I mean, I want to say, well, if you want to answer the problem, then put up ratings, put up a rating system, and say, this channel is. I mean, we had to do it for this show on iTunes, just because if people want to drop an f-bomb here and there, hashtag me, at least we're already covered for it, right?
Right.
Not that we're gonna be putting out all kinds of filth and everything every week, but at least we're covered. And then people who are looking for an art podcast, they'll be able to see, they find us, and then they can read all the wonderful things. By the way, if you leave a suggestion or if you leave a comment on the show, we will read it on the show. But what would it look like if YouTube did something like that? Would that help answer the problem?
Well, they kind of already have that. They have like the explicit warnings, and they have certain things you already have to have an account and be signed in to even view. I just think they're approaching this entire problem backwards. They're putting the burden on the content providers, and the whole point behind YouTube is the content. That's what people are coming there to see. I mean, there would be no YouTube if people wouldn't go and sit on YouTube and watch a bunch of advertisements with nothing else. I mean, yeah, there's some advertisements that are cool and funny that people watch, but you would never YouTube. Yeah, but YouTube would never.
Everyone else is garbage.
But YouTube wouldn't exist without its content. So they're kind of alienating them. But I'm not naive, and I understand that it's a business and that they need money to keep it going and support the servers and all of the the massive amount of people and equipment involved. So that's obviously why they have advertisers. But they need to flip the burden and put it on the advertisers and just give them an opt-in. Like say, hey, we don't want our product advertised on R-rated explicit shows. It's as simple as that. It's just
easy. Yeah.
I mean, that's how every other system is. I mean, you don't see Gerber's baby food advertising in Playboy magazine. Like it's just you pair up with who your audience is. I just don't get it. It seems really backwards.
Yeah. And is it just, would it be, and I don't exactly know how YouTube handles their advertisers, if it's like so when you do an ad campaign with Google or even Project Wonderful, when you go to do an ad campaign, you can tell Well, Project Wonderful, you can do specifically this website, or you can do this kind of website. And then the ads go out, and however many you get served up, that's how you pay, and blah, 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 blah. And Google's somewhat like that too, where you tell Google where you want your ads to show up. I don't see the big deal would be if you do some ads through Google, who happens to own YouTube, and then you just tell them, look, I don't want my ads to show up on any kind of whatever it is, your reservations.
Right.
So yeah, I think it sucks. I think you know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is because PewDiePie started his own network. He got together with a bunch of these really popular people, and they got together and they built their own network. There's Twitch, there's Vimeo, all these other people who basically, so far, I think they let you do almost whatever it is, that just as long as you're within their target market, right? So you can't go to Twitch and be like, oh, today I'm gonna bake a cake, right? So
Yeah,
that's not what it's
they
there
ban
for.
you real quick. Or if it's not dealing with gaming or some type of creative, they kind of ban you, but it has to be still kind of related to gaming in some sort of way, or creative 3D or something creative, in that function. They had that problem though. With that being said, they had that problem when the PS4 came out, and the Xbox. They allowed people to have consoles to do what we're doing now, like live stream, right? Which you can imagine, if usually, it could be pretty more. There's a divide between those individuals who play computer games and those who play a console. One of the biggest things is your computer, a really nice computer, can cost you $800 to $2,000, right? If you want to play games and stream and do all that good stuff, and a console can cost you, $400 to $500, maybe $300 if you wait. So when you have this whole influx of people that are just in their homes, well, imagine what happens when you give them a camera and you allow them to live stream live over the internet, and then it hooks into Twitch. They went on a banning spree for weeks. They had to take it down a little bit. They had to figure out what to do, and Twitch probably is this was a bad idea to have them connected into us, because it was just everything under the sun you could think of. It was almost like entertaining to watch the command center on your console of who was just streaming what are they doing? Oh my gosh, is he in his Superman underwear? What's going on over there? And it was just amazing. Amazingly watching, it's like watching a train wreck. But you think with the YouTube thing, it's a way for them to try to just clean up their site in general, to try to make it more, as Jack put it, what the networks do a little bit, where what you're getting into when you watch YouTube, instead of it being some of those YouTube pages having just those weird, maybe more sexual content, or those weird conspiracy theories. How the internet can get, and if anybody who's browsed YouTube for longer than an hour, you can get some pretty weird stuff, but you'll still have that car commercial at the beginning. So maybe the car commercial cosigns or whatever it's about to happen after the 30 seconds. I don't know. It seems like they're trying to fix, or put some soap to the internet, which you really can't, but they're trying to do it on YouTube, to me.
Yeah, man, let's all move to deep web.
That's it. We can do what we want when we want.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not like I mean, there's no other like YouTube though type site in terms of just straight upload a video. You know, not live, but you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is interesting.
What was YouTube's original tagline?
There's this one called Dailymotion. It still exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dailymotion.
Yeah, I guess it was. Dailymotion is. Yeah, that still exists.
Yeah, I don't know in US, but in Brazil, YouTube it's incredible, poor quality, man. At the same time, you have music, you have youngsters drinking and playing video games, but talking shit. I think it's this easy of access. It's a problem.
Oh. So the less restrictions outside the U.S. on YouTube, you would say?
No, just the quality itself. It's poor.
Quality is poor.
Okay.
But the content has got to be somewhat the same, if not the same. And I think that's a really good point, because there's a lot of kids that go out there. You know, you have YouTube Live and you have all this stuff, and these kids don't understand that, and a lot of times they don't even care that they're out here doing all kinds of weird, foolish things, and eventually you're going to be looking for a job, and
social media department.
People are
HR.
Hey, people look through social media to see what you're up to. So if you're hiring a 2D artist, or if you are Geico looking for a new show to sponsor, go ahead and reach out. Go to sketch.zone/contact.
It's crazy, man.
So did we beat that one to death? Are we all unitedly upset with YouTube?
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Do we go down, now that we're talking about getting our panties in a bunch, do we go down a lot of people getting upset with Colin Kaepernick?
You want to knock on that door?
Yeah.
Why not? It's good because we have a foreigner on the panel, so he can give us an outside perspective of crazy Americans.
That's a really good point.
Okay.
Dado, do you follow NFL at all?
No way, man.
He's like, hell no, unless it has something to do with a pencil or a Cintiq.
Like, football is totally different to Dado.
So what happened? There's this quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers what's the word I'm looking for?
Backup? What are you looking for?
No. The word the action that he's taken. He is
silent protest.
Protesting. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He's protesting the actions that the United States, that the police around the United States have been taking. People that are supposed to be defending us or protecting us are actually beating people up and oftentimes killing them. And so in protest, while the national anthem was playing last week, Colin Kaepernick decided to sit down and not stand up, because here in the United States, to show, well, pretty much all around the world, but to show reverence or respect to the flag, to the national flag, while the national anthem is playing, you stand up, you put your hand over your heart or your cap over your heart, all this good stuff. Well, he decided in protest, he sat down and did not stand up for the national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let you guys go because I can go on this one for a while. Who wants to go first?
I did last one, so go ahead, Charlie. I'm not biting. I'm gonna wait and hear what y'all have to say before.
um. So yeah, he didn't stand up, and finally the media noticed because he had done this a couple times before, and no one said anything, and the media noticed they didn't stand up, and finally they asked him, in the locker room afterwards, and as Carlos, basically said, he talked about injustice, right? He talked about some of the things he talked about to the press directly was things like, liberty and justice for all. Some of the things you hear about when you think about, the American flag, you think about patriotism for your country and what this country's stood on. And he feels that that's not being reflected right now in America. One was he mentioned police brutality. He also went on and mentioned, which I kind of liked his responses to the press because the press was asking them those same questions that online and through social media starts a lot of discussion about. Well, what about honoring soldiers, men and women, both minority and whatever who fights for the country and gave their life and all that stuff. And he says that he honors all those guys, but he also says by the same token, a lot of times when those individuals come back from serving their countries, a lot of them are not, treated with, liberty and justice and like respect. So that's another reason why I sat down. I feel like he said he feel like that the climate right now dictates him to sit down, and when things change, he'll stand up. Now that was my one qualm why he said it, because it's a really hard issue to change, and you kind of paint yourself into a box. But for the most part, he spoke very had a very thoughtful, well thought out response, which I kind of respect why he's doing it, but at the same time, it's like I think some of those things, if I think of it from both sides of the wheel, it can also be kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Where like, we spoke earlier about, the NBA has a different stance than what the NFL does, and the NFL allows their players to have the option of, standing up or sitting down. They kind of encourage them to stand, but they don't force them. Whereas the NBA say, "Yo, stand up," because and the notion between that is while his point is relevant to what's happening, and I think it started a conversation throughout the country, which is good. I feel it's good, and luckily the NFL has a more progressive stance than the NBA. The NBA views it as you're representing a brand, and that brand is being represented by all the people that are watching because they're paying to see you, do your job and whatever. So you don't want to offend those people that are actually your customer base. Basically, is what the NBA has it. So it kind of affects the brand of the NFL at the same time, but obviously it also affects the different players and stuff at the same time. So it's an interesting thing, because we also believe in freedom of speech, and that flag, presents itself in a way where it allows people like Colin Kaepernick to be able to silent protest, and people that are jumping down his throat is kind of the reason why he lives in America, so he can do this kind of thing if he wanted to. So it has a lot of different conversations, and it's very interesting just to see all the different angles that people are taking. While I hope that something out of this, with the whole police brutality and all that stuff, has affected me and a lot of my other friends and family, has all been on our minds all year, and all the other crazy stuff that's happened this year. I hope it's not just talking points, because at this point, no one's really, as usual, giving any kind of solutions. Right. They're just shocked and appalled at what he's doing, and based on that. It turns into him. It turns into how much money he makes. It turns into well, he's a second string quarterback, you know, and he's fighting for the first string. So maybe this is a way for him to make himself more relevant. It's just all these different things rather than the narrative of like, or you're disrespecting, you know, the troops and stuff like that and all the other stuff when clearly he said he doesn't disrespect the troops. He fights for when they get home and they're being disrespected too. There's a lot of things about, you know, it's like, what happened? Or is this just a social network, you know,
stunt
topic of the day? And 2 weeks from now, it'll go away. You know, it raised the conversation. People gets to argue for a couple weeks on Facebook, and then no change. I would like to see some type of, you know, I would like to see some type of resolution or something. You know, easier said than done, right? But it's I find it very interesting.
For you guys, what was the last really protest that changed something from you guys? It was the bank thing.
Not even that. The bank failure thing that went through. People were upset, but all the rich people still got their money.
Mm-hmm.
So there was the I forget what the movement was called. The
Occupy Wall Street.
Occupy got in the way, but a couple people got maced and people moved.
Yeah.
You know.
At the same time, yeah, you had bad apples and that discredited a whole, you know, movement. And it wasn't like, what is it called? It wasn't one. It was like Occupy Chicago, LA. Too segmented for it to do any good. If you look at it from a historical standpoint, there was no, you know, it was kind of like
the one. I will say, there was a sort of movement. The president wanted to go into some Middle Eastern country. I can't remember what it was right now. And he's like, oh yeah, we're going to go in there because they're doing all kinds of bad things, la 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 la. And people are like, what? Like, where's that coming from? And so there was such a backlash on social media that all of a sudden that invasion never happened. Because there was no reason.
It was
I forget who it was, but anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever country that was, they almost got their ass whipped. And if not for social media saying, yo, ease up, we can't do that, you know, all the polls came back where no one wanted that to happen. And so they, like, all of a sudden, Washington was like, all right, cool, forget it, we're going to go watch YouTube then. And so that was changed, but okay. So I guess I'll go now because I sat up in my chair. But you have so many people that have been fighting this very fight since forever. Jesse Owens in the Olympics, Martin Luther King Jr., people that we don't even know about that stand up for their right. And listen, when I say this, how silly it sounds. They want to be treated the same. They don't want to be treated better. They don't want to be treated special. They want to be treated the same. They want the same opportunities for education. They want the same opportunities to get home alive. They want the same opportunities to say what they have to say. They want the same opportunities to provide for their families. And 50, 60 years ago, when Muhammad Ali was whipping ass and taking names, They wanted him to sign up for the army, and they were going to send him to Korea, to Vietnam. And he said no. And so what they did was they stripped him of the title. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. They stripped him of his title, and they put him on punishment for a couple years, handful of years. And they asked him the same question. What is it that you're doing? Why are you doing this? He goes, why would I ever want to go to Vietnam to kill hundreds of people that I don't know, that never called me the M-bomb? Meanwhile, he's here at home being treated like a second-class citizen. People of color in the 60s, people of colors were drinking from a different water fountain. People of color were not allowed to buy property in certain areas. We still have games played with our credit score. We still have to prove ourselves just a little bit more when it comes to trying to find a job to provide for our families. Why, in God's name, if we are a Christian country that believe in God loves everyone, Jesus is my homeboy, all that good stuff, why the hell are we still having to fight this fight? There's no reason for this. So when someone with a big-ass afro, and let me tell you, I'm sure Colin Kaepernick is doing that shit on purpose. His afro is like 2 feet tall. So when he sits down, if that is what upsets you, then you can officially kiss my ass. I am a United States soldier. I have fought for the rights for people to do that specific thing. Because listen, you can't have freedom of speech only if you agree with what I say. You get freedom of speech whether or not you want to be racist. Unfortunately, you get to say all your racist jokes and you get to do all those idiot things that I don't agree with. But you know what? We live in America and you have the right to do that. I have a right to rebuttal anything that you say. But that's how this is going to work. This is the only way. That's why I don't mind when Republicans and Democrats go back and forth, because everyone has a really good idea, and that's how you form that more perfect union. But for you to be sitting there trying to pretend that shit is equal here in the United States and telling everyone we're the greatest country in the world, no, bitch, we got a long way to come, because we're fighting the same exact fight year after year, generation after generation. And that's why I'm proud of Colin Kaepernick. And if you're upset with him, again, let me know. I will send you a selfie of my ass that you can cuddle with.
Bye-bye, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube advertisers.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming down off my soapbox and breathe. Sorry. Dude.
This is kind of real.
So tired. I am so tired of it. And then people are talking about this kid like, oh, he's so anti-American. No. Burning crosses in someone's front yard. That's un-American.
Mm-hmm.
Not letting people buy a home in a good neighborhood. That's un-American. Not looking at someone's resume because it might say Tyrone or Carlos Gomez for that matter. You see Carlos Gomez, or you see me walking down the street, you start thinking, Donald Trump better hurry up and build that wall. All that stuff right there, all of that is not American. What's American is everyone gets a really good shot at making things happen. And back down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack?
I do not need to follow that. You covered it all. I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, dude. I just, And I've had conversations at the gym with some folks that are like, "Oh, that guy." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, please.
No, it's risking a lot because he's a
Think-
second string quarterback. Because he might not have he
That
might
don't
not have
even
a
matter.
position, you know, like, and that's like not all press is good press when you're an athlete. So you know he had to make a conscious decision to do this in this climate in 2016. You know, it's not just what happens on the football field; it's everything else with it. So you never know if he's not with San Francisco next year or whatever. This could totally affect a bunch of different things. He said that in the beginning, so he didn't care because of.
And you know what's frustrating? You know what's frustrating is they say the first thing people say, "Oh, yeah, that's funny for you to say because you're an NFL quarterback. You make so much money. Like you should feel happy that you have the opportunity to make millions of dollars." You know what? There's a guy. I think it was he used to play for the Bulls, and I think he might play for the Knicks now.
Joakim Noah?
The day. What was his name? I forget his name, but he was traded a couple years ago.
Oh.
When he was walking down the street, the cops stopped him and broke his leg. They whooped his ass and broke his leg. An NBA player. They told him stop, and he's like, "Yo, I'm cool, nothing to." He wasn't doing anything but walking down the street. They whooped his ass and broke his leg. He couldn't play basketball for at least a year. He didn't play last year, and I think he didn't play for about a half a year before last year, right? You're not safe. So there goes your argument about you should feel happy that you're playing for the NFL and all this other stuff. This country made you. No, this country whooped that kid's ass.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find out.
I'll find
out what it is. Anyway, so yeah, if you're a professional athlete, that doesn't save you from an ass whooping because it's happened. It happened a year and a half ago. And if his leg doesn't heal properly, that's his career.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can take all that. Oh, you play for the NFL. Kiss my ass.
There was on ESPN they did a nice biopic on it. There was a young lady that went to a Division III school back in like 2004, 2005, and they re-interviewed her lately, and she did the exact same thing, but instead, when she was standing for her basketball game, she turned her back silently, and still stood with her team, but turned her back, and that created her senior year at that Division III school. It was like crazy. I don't remember the young lady's name. I can look it up here, but it was interesting when they were talking about. And she wrote an open letter to Colin and kind of was like giving her thoughts on the whole situation, and that was back in like 2005 or something like that. And she wasn't like a big NBA player or anything like that, or football player, and like the school got thousands of letters and all this other stuff, even though she had some good points of why she was doing it, based on what she saw.
Dude's name is Thabo Cephalosha.
Oh,
Thabo.
Yeah.
Cephalosha. Sefolosha. He got beat up by New York NYPD. Broke his leg. Check that out.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember that one.
You're a professional sports player. You should be happy that you're making millions. This kid was making millions and got his $1 million ass whooped. Anyway. Whew, I'm sweating.
Fiery.
I'm gonna rebrand this show. It's like a
I know.
Rush Limbaugh show.
I know. It really is. Oh. Sorry, Dado.
No.
It's been a long week. Anyway, let's lighten the mood. I wanted to exercise some excitement in my world.
Your
I
world.
bought tickets to the CTN Expo.
Oh, cool. Where you
I'm
going?
excited. So if you don't know, it's the Creative Talent Network has an expo down in LA. So now that we're in public and it's not going to be awkward, hey Jack, can I crash at your house for a couple days in November?
Nice. Just
There's gonna be a forest fire then, and
Yes. my
evacuation.
favorite. I'll bring the marshmallows.
Of course.
Dado, do they have anything like SIGGRAPH or CTN Expo in Brazil?
Yeah, we have how is called it, Comic Con. The last one was in São Paulo,
Uh-huh.
and we have this game event. I forgot the name, but it's a local game event, but it's pretty big. But not CTNX for what I know.
Oh. We're gonna have to get
And
something on your. We're gonna have to get something
Yeah.
on your Patreon, like the CTNX level.
Oh, that would be cool, man.
We gotta start a Dado to CTN fundraiser.
Fundraiser.
I was trying to see. I was trying to see if there was one of those conferences. I thought it was in Brazil, but maybe not. I think it was somewhere else. It was like the unicorn, Trojan horse unicorn.
Yeah.
But that
It's
was that.
from Brazil? No, it's Portugal.
Was it? Where's that?
No, in Portugal.
Oh,
Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah,
Okay. I was
Portugal.
wondering. I was like, you can go to that, but it's Portugal. Okay, never mind. Which I heard is an amazing conference too.
So for
unicorn
those
with
of
the
you that
Trojan
don't-
horse. Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, CTN is like SIGGRAPH, but for I don't know if 3D animators much, but I'm sure there are. But it's a lot of 2D animators and 2D artists,
It's
concept.
the whole gambit. Yeah, it's the whole gambit there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Pixelogic is usually there. They usually having like live sculpting and stuff like that too. It's like, and then both sides are meeting with students and stuff like that and professionals alike. It's a good thing, but it's smaller, more contained, feels more homey, if you will. So you probably be able to meet and talk to some of your mentor people you look up to more than you would at like a SIGGRAPH because it's a lot smaller, even though it's getting bigger. But it's not like SIGGRAPH big, which is a good thing. You can get around and talk to people and stuff.
A friend of the show, Jordan Koch. He's a storyboard artist for Nickelodeon. He's going to be tabling there, so I'm looking forward to meeting him.
Mm-hmm. You probably can meet. You probably should get the list out. You'll probably be able to meet a lot of different people that's been on the show. I'm sure Tony Leonard will be there. You probably.
That's true.
Danny Williams will probably be there.
What?
Those are some of the few guys. Well, Danny's East Coast now, but maybe he'll go out for that. But definitely Tony and a couple other guys. 2D guys we've had, I'm sure will be there. It's a cool show.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna see about. I don't know if they're gonna let me live stream or anything, but I'm gonna try to get away with as much as possible up until they say, "Hey, you."
If you you could like do shotgun interviews on the Sketch Zone Facebook page and Facebook live stream.
Yeah.
And
just keep go one.
Just keep it to like a short one. Like go live for like the 5
Just
minutes.
Look, I'm already ready
bunch of-
already. I'm already
just
ready
a-
already. Look at, I got my little tripod action with the phone clamp right there.
What were you saying, Jack?
We should go around and just do a bunch of this or that.
Oh yeah, you could do that, and then just like cut it off and turn it back on. So then you have a bunch of posts. By the end of the day, you'll have like 12 posts of different like
That'd be
shotgun
really funny.
interviews.
Just
That'd
this
be
or
I'm
that.
gonna go up. I'm gonna go up to people and be like, this or that. I'm gonna be like, Dado Almeida or Dave Atzy, and then
You
see
could
what
do
they
that.
say.
You get their name and then just start out with their name, such and such from such and such. This or that.
That's a good idea.
That's great.
I like
Do
that.
it, because then we have all these interviews on the page. Just we can just share the crap out of those for the next 2 weeks. Social network.
Speaking of which, Dado Almeida, this.
Oh,
Dado Almeida, Dadotronic, this or that, 2D or 3D?
2D.
2D.
Charlie now
Ah.
has written you off.
Did you hear how Charlie gasped?
Just week after week,
We
I'm
did-
just dagger in the heart. Let's keep it moving. I'm gonna get misty.
I just got off my
moving.
soapbox, and not once did Charlie gasp. We say 2D or 3D. He's like, oh.
Yeah, you're talking about war and people getting murdered and oppression and nothing. But 2D or 3D?
Oh, it gets all right.
But I
spoke
realized
my
3D.
piece.
I realized 3D is much more. There's much more room to 3D stuff than 2D stuff. I think
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
this VR thing. There's a lot of possibilities to 3D artists.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, well, no, I guess we weren't. Well, we were kind of talking about it. Games or movies?
Movies.
Wow, that's like, oh.
I like that one.
So now that you didn't pick games, retro gaming or modern gaming?
Now you're talking retro gaming for sure, man.
Ah.
I can't play new games anymore. I fall asleep.
Call
Because-
of Duty just is a sleeper.
Man, new games for me it's like movies, so that's why I choose movies.
Yeah.
You don't play anymore. You just control the sequence. You just pick sequence.
Yeah, that's true. That's the one thing. Do you remember it was Space Ace and what's the other one? Dragon's Lair?
Dragon Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the look of it, the animations and everything, but the gameplay itself,
It's very boring.
yeah, very, very poop. Okay, so with that said, Nintendo or Sega?
Sega.
I know I had my Sega Genesis.
Yeah, man.
When we're talking about your artwork, do you prefer working on characters or environments?
Characters for sure. I'm not so good with environment.
Charlie, let it out.
I didn't just did. Let's stay strong.
And then, well, we're on the topic of characters. Do you prefer zombies or robots?
werewolves. No.
Yes. Yes. I love when they ask.
I prefer werewolves and fairies.
Yeah, I think robots. Okay, robots.
Robots? All
I,
right.
I drew 100 robot bunnies, so I like this team.
You drew 100 robot bunnies?
Yeah, it was a Jake Parker thing. He posted a video someday, and so people, as an exercise to draw 100 things of the same team.
Mhm.
So I drew 100 robot bunnies.
That's
But it was a great practice to ink traditionally. I learned a lot.
Oh, nice.
yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, all of those he goes nuts with all of these social media art challenges and stuff like that. Every week he has something new. But the interesting thing is if you follow them, you get good. I mean, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm Team Jake. So that was it for this or that. So let's move on to the next segment, which is the artist spotlight.
Spotlight.
We're
We
gonna have
gotta
to come up with that.
get a theme song for this one for sure.
We do.
What's that? No, that's don't turn on the red light.
Jeez.
This is a weird intro. You'd be like, what?
Red light.
Spotlight.
All right,
Isn't
I'll
there
go
a-
because mine. Go ahead.
You could do the flashing lights. The Kanye song. Just the first part.
Yeah, that's true.
A blurb.
Flash, lights. While I distract you guys, I am going to go ahead and share my screen. My artist of the day. Hang on, I want to share the actual page, not the. Well, I guess that was it. Nope, here we go. All right, my artist of the week is Carlos Gomez.
Wait, what?
Yeah. If you go to
Yes.
if you go to Instagram.com/Carlos Gomez artist.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
Like, wait. I had to look at the screen. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
This is what it would look like if I drew a lot more. Yeah, this guy is based in Spain. He's done work for Marvel and a bunch of really cool just projects. This is some Ant-Man drawings. Yeah, and it's funny because whenever people do a search for me, his work comes up, and so people think that I'm really good.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, well, yes, of course.
That is my name.
Yeah. I go by said label. It's a picture of
And I
Thor.
am an artist. This is getting real vague.
I'm like, did you want to do more cartoony style?
So he does all the ink and all the inked rust for comic books?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Pencils and inks.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, I really like his style. It's very comic booky. And there he is in the ocean with a castle in the back and a couple hotties in back too.
He's built. Carlos Gomez, the artist, your alter ego is ripped.
Yeah.
he just has it all.
I know. I got a lot more hair than he does, though.
Yo, it's different.
But yeah, so go take a look. Go to Instagram.com/Carlos Gomez Artist and partake in the really good art style. He's got mad skills.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
He's
there.
got some perspective in there too. Look at that. Nice.
Oh yeah, that cityscape is pretty sweet. All right, who's up?
Go on, Charlie. Go on.
Here we go.
Get it, Chuck.
All right, cool. Mine this week is drum roll, please. Let's see. Let me share my screen. So my guy's name is Nathaniel Ruda. He's from Peru. I found this guy a little while ago because I like to put different people in my background as inspiration. He has a pretty cool style. I tried to search for his webpage, hoping that he had something other than Behance, but like an artist, he doesn't. But he does have a pretty cool Facebook page. Artists hate doing portfolio sites or something. It seems like an epidemic at times.
It is pretty crazy trying to, because do you work on a website or do you draw?
True, but there's so many ways of putting stuff up nowadays. Back in the day, that's true, where it's like I don't spend 6 months on a site or something, but I guess that's what Behance is for, right? So he's here, and he does have a Facebook page too. If you want to look for him up on Facebook, because if you don't come over to Behance a lot, and search and browse and stuff like that, you can go to facebook.com/his alter ego, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. It's mute.illustration, and he has a really cool style. If I go to some of his photos, this is my favorite piece that he's done. It's just
really cool.
I'm into a lot of Japanese, Korean, and that type of art mixed with like a couple other like European artists and stuff like that. And it has a weird like Akira meets some American comic book artist coloring styles, and it's just really cool. Just a really cool style. Let's see if I can find his art. Let's go back to here. So we go through here. He uses a lot of color, and his stuff just like pops off the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. Like almost like ad agency art director-ish. And I found some of his stuff where he is drawing these things. He does have he is drawing them, so he used a computer. Obviously, he has the almighty Cintiq, and it's like he's even shading his work first, in black and white, and then he changes the color. So it's almost like a screen, like old school, like comic booky, style where he's coloring his gray, his
values in there.
Yeah, his black and whites first. Let me show you some other stuff. It almost gets into like I said like that Japanese manga influence, and then almost like rock album cover type Grateful Dead like meets like some of those old school album either album covers or like what is it concert posters if you've seen those, if you guys have seen those type of things before too, but the coloring, I want you guys to go to this, and even Carlos, Jack, Dado, like go to the site and like look at it closer. Don't look at it through my screen. Like you can see this one's cool because then he shows his breakdown. I don't know if you guys do this if you can do this on your Instagram. I'm assuming this is just animated GIF, right? Where like look how sketchy it gets. Like Carlos, you talk about how you like to be real sketchy when you first start. Look at that, like when he first starts, and then it goes how he builds it up. You know, it's really really interesting stuff. Love it. You know, so on.
Dado, is that how you approach your drawings? Do you build up like that when you're working on yours?
Yeah, just sketching. It's always the same process: sketching, 2 layers of drawing, inking, flat colors, and shading. I tried for a couple of months to do a more painterly style, but it's not my thing. I have so much pressures with my lines that I can't cover it.
He loves his line work.
No, check out this one. It's like homage to like all the old school like horror films and stuff. You know? So he gets really like ad agency art director-ish style, you know,
cool.
with graphic design elements, right? Where like this dude is all around just great artist. You know, it's one of the reasons why I like Behance. I know Carlos has been on that a lot. We've talked about that in other episodes. I started going back on it as more, and I forgot how much I like to find either these art directors that have these amazing artistic sides to them, but you start to see their like typography skills come out. You know, like look at Gremlins. It's just just a little shop of horrors. Like it's just look at the Chucky one. Like this is so long. Like I scroll slowly on purpose. And what's the cartoon on this reminds this one the Grady twins. It's like I can't remember. It's on Cartoon Network right now. But there's so many different styles in this.
It's
this
like
piece.
Adventure Time.
Yeah, Adventure Time. Yes. There's so many different styles in this piece. You know. Like I scroll on this one slowly on purpose because like it's just good.
Dado, there's your werewolf.
Yeah.
And then notice how the tongue here like wraps around and then it pulls your eye down to the next part, to the end of it. You know? This is good.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, look through his stuff. Like his stuff is like I kinda want it framed. And I want to contact him, and have it up. Like it's like really good.
Contact him. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah, let's do that. Mute illustrations. Yeah, here it goes. Yeah, because I just want to see more of his breakdown. I'm like, yo, you have to open up your PSDs and let's take me through them. Like, it's very rock and roll too. And that's mine for today.
I really like the way he pulls off the hair.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Strands. That is, you know how hard that is.
Man. Oh.
And you know, if you look at it closer up, I was gonna say, has he been in art galleries? Yeah, but you know, if you look at his stuff closer, I think it's because like he starts off like so rough and then builds up, and he has a finished grayscale drawing, and then he's just like coloring. I bet you some weird like channels. Like he's just coloring like the different like RGB layers and like, because I could see this, I could see the shading in the colors. Like Jack, you work in like black and white also, right? So like, I feel like if you colored your stuff, it'd look, you know, like you'd have like when you see those two.
Colored it.
You see what I'm saying? But if you left Jack's like inking over top of it, or if you had it like shaded, you know.
Yeah, he has really, really good line art there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have to do much. I bet you he doesn't even have to do much because his line works so good in the shading, like feeling stuff. But then he has the other parts where it's clearly all just digitally painted. Yep, that's it. That's me. Or that's him this week. Good spotlight.
Nathaniel.
Excellent.
Nathaniel Ruda. Yes, you're welcome.
Thanks, Charlie. Jack.
Yes. Mine this week is a French Canadian illustrator. He's currently living in Paris, though. Nico Delort. D-E-L-O-R-T. Now, I'm a big fan of black and white, for those of you that know my style, but the reason this is just straight up nuts is because he does all of this by hand and not by pen and ink, but by Scratchboard. And if nobody knows what a Scratchboard is, you know, the new kids out there is basically you have a board that is either painted white and then there's a coating over it that's black, or it's reversed, it's a board that's black with a coating over it that's white, and you literally just scratch away slowly to reveal the color underneath. So this guy does all this stuff by hand.
Shut up.
What
class was that?
So basically, to put that in like layman's terms, it's like reverse drawing.
Yes. Yeah.
Without a pen, it's like a
and no pen. You can't.
It's like a knife.
Yeah, you can't sketch out ahead of time because it'll mess up your finish on the board. You have to pretty much do this freehand. It's just nutty. And the way I found him is this is just like one of the coolest images I think I've ever seen. Not this, hang on.
That one is.
That's really pretty awesome. But,
cool. Yeah.
Come on, Nico, your website needs updating. That's what I got. That's my only critique.
Really slow gallery
That's my only critique.
He's scratchboarding. Give him.
Yeah, he gets a pass, Carlton. He gets a pass.
Come on, if it's not gonna let me, I'll just go old school.
Whoa.
All right, hang on. This right here. Come on. All right, this right here, it's this car. This is bummer that it doesn't. It's just amazing. This car that is driving down a freeway in like a hurricane windstorm, and there's like this monster coming out of the clouds. But because it's Scratchboard, let's try it again. You know what? I'm gonna
close the other site completely. Yeah, and redo it. Yeah.
I'm just gonna Google this image because you got to see this. To me, this is just like the coolest thing. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
It's just this like monster coming out of the windstorm, and it's all just scratched in there. I can zoom in.
How does he have control over like rounded lines?
So go to his website, nicodelort.com, and he's got a couple of videos that show him working, but not many. But just enough to be like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
perfect circles and like, what?
Yeah, and he does all sorts of like fantasy. It's mostly kind of fantasy art, you know, kind of even some kind of Stephen King inspired scenes, but it's just cool. Well, it really wants to show us this one, so.
Can you get him on the show?
I would die. This is just nuts.
He'd be like, this show is only a making up.
This is just, yeah, let's just watch you work while we...
I don't care about talking. I just need you to show me.
It's just crazy to me. So
I don't know how he's doing that.
Like,
how do you plan that out? Like, you just say, I want to start in one section and whatever happens. Watch, it's one of those, like, it just came to me while I was working and I just started out with a little
imagine having Scratchboard and you're getting in it and then you accidentally spill your coffee?
Look, here you go.
Oh.
And that's sped up. You know that's sped up.
Yeah. Yeah. So he has a weird, like...
Well, you have a little scratch pen. So see how the board is white and then he's painted over it black. And then you have a pen that scratches away.
He still has to be confident in that line, and he can't take it back.
Nope.
Now, what's crazy is all of these, this is just a series. It's not a video. It's a series of scratches that he's done of the actual video. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That is so ridiculous.
You know what his style would be really cool for? You know those old children's stories that you read to your kids when they're when they're about to go to bed, and when you're grown up, you find out that they're really scary.
Yeah.
That's what
Pictures at the bottom of
his
those
artwork
pages.
would be so phenomenal for something like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, there's
I
a
mean,
witch
that's
that
kind
lived
of-
in a house made out of cookies, and these two kids
Yeah.
went and ate these
It's like
cookies.
one
and-
picture every 50 pages. You get one illustration.
That's why, because it took him so long. They only got one every.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You think he draws normally? You think he like? has a
I'm sure,
badass-
but his website is pretty much exclusively that
What if his
stuff.
drawing was horrible?
Maybe you give him a pen and like just piece of paper and pencils. It's like I can't do this. I don't own a
His handwriting
sketchbook.
is worse than the doctor's. Like, what are you doing?
Instead, he just got a bunch of scratchboards that are like binding together like a sketchbook. He's like, I just get ideas.
Dado, did you have an artist you wanted to show off?
Yeah, man. I have two. Can I show two very quickly?
Sure. Do you know how to share your screen?
I think so.
Green.
Share.
Green button. Pick the yep. I'm interested to see what you got. Who's your artist?
It's showing?
Yeah, it's showing us.
It's
There you go.
showing.
There it is.
Yep.
There we go.
Who is that? Let's see.
First one is I can't spell his name. I think it's Pierre Oberson. It's a French guy. It's very old Polycounter. It's one of the veterans of Polycount.
All right.
And
Did you work for Valve?
I like he worked for Blizzard for a while. Now I think he's freelancing and doing those Dota 2
workshop stuff. Yeah.
workshops. And I'm amazed by the sense of design of this guy. It's very not much detailed, but very crisp lines, almost like Joey Madureira in 3D, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yo, Dado, you are old school Polycounter. This is awesome that you picked Pierre, man. He has like amazing like style in 3D. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I will not click every image but his 2D work it's incredible, man.
Yeah, man. He has a lot of concept art stuff too. You should show his early work too. Like, it was awesome. Like back in the day, where like poly counts were like a lot lower, like where those guys used to have to like basically paint the face on the model. You unwrap the face and you paint the face. He would be painting them like awesome faces, but like the polys would be in a way where it perfectly accent the cheekbones and making cool looking girls but they're like low poly. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's one of this kind of art. That's the kind of art that brings me to computer graphics. I was amazed of that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's a great example there in the bottom one, that last one you went up, because you can see in the corner with the UVs that one is just the face, and he just painted it by hand in Photoshop, just painted the face on.
I love this image from him.
That's cool.
Very Capcom style.
Yeah, that's true.
Airbrush. And another one, it's a more lightweight. It's also a French guy. I don't know if you guys know, but his name is... Oh, I forgot his name. Bullet. Let me see Instagram. Do you guys know this guy? Bullet? John G. John G. Bullet, I think it's the name.
John J. Boulay.
John J. Bullet.
Oh, that's cool.
His Instagram, it's cool, but what bring me to his work is his comic strip. It's hilarious, man. It's very, very fun. And the way he lay out the pages, it's a nice strip to read at night.
Oh, cool.
So what's the Boule Corp?
BouleCorp.com, it's his main website. We'll put in the chat.
I'm gonna try to find him real quick so we can put him in the show notes. And his if you're listening on iTunes and you follow the links, you're gonna need Google Translate because
Yeah.
it's French. Oh, he's got videos of how he makes the things.
Yeah, I think there are some making-ofs of more more watercolor style. But can I show just one more? It's
Of course, it's your show.
Yep.
okay. Let's try. I think you guys know Arne Niklas Jansson. He's another sorry. He's another old guy in this industry. But this man is a concept master, man. He creates. His site, it's a mess. You probably will have a trouble browsing it, but if you dig deep, you will see a lot of good stuff. He write a lot about his ideas, but there's a lot of creations, like he invents his own console. It's like his version of the Famicom. He draws the boards, the controls, not just the games. He draws the consoles itself.
Huh. That is a cool. That's cool.
It's a very hard site to browse, but it's like a graphic scientist for me. This guy.
Yeah.
Y'all get lost in that one. I'm gonna look at that one.
That looks so cool.
And of course, this guy has the most known art tutorial on the internet. I'm not sure if you guys read this tutorial, but one of the most shared tutorials on the internet coming from this guy. This art tutorial.
Cool.
That's really cool. Thank you for that, Mr. Dado Almeida.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is that's Dado, everyone. Mr. Almeida, if people are looking for you and your work online, where can they find you?
DadoAlmeida.com, it's the main site, mostly for professional work. And on social media is Dadotronic. And my Patreon também, né? I'm talking Portuguese. and my and my Patreon is patreon.com/Dadotronic.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
I know our buddy Dave Atsy.
I like turtles.
He was looking forward to us having you on and getting to know you a little bit more. And me too. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love your work, and it's gonna be fun to watch you get 800 followers.
Coming.
Another party is coming.
And with that being said, Charlie B. Williams, if people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
As always, you can find me at cargocollective.com/CharlieB. My Facebook page, facebook.com/CharlieBW3. Twitter, CBW3. Instagram, CharlieBW3. Pinterest is CharlieBW3.
Jack?
I am at sketchbookjack.com and sketchbookjack on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest.
And I am Carlos Gomez. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com or under the name Coconut Justice if you happen to be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or Behance. This has been the Sketch Zone podcast. You can find us and all of our shows at sketch.zone. And if you have an idea for a guest, go ahead and fill out the form at sketch.zone/guest. If you're on Twitter, you can find us at SketchZone. If you're on Facebook.com, you can go to Facebook.com/TheSketchZone. You can go to YouTube.com/SketchZonePodcast. And as always, you can find us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So now get out there, have a good week, be good to each other. Have a good week.
See you guys.
See ya. Thank you.
Dado!